3 keys to humility. So the first thing is ask questions and don't be afraid of looking stupid. Unless you've really not been listening and someone's already explained something 10 times over and you're not listening, then fine, okay, you're being silly. But if you know you're in a lecture, you're being taught, you're listening to a presentation, you're in a Bible study, wherever it is that you're learning, if you sincerely don't understand, get the clarity, because guess what? When you go about doing what you need to do and then you don't do it properly, now you feel silly because you didn't get the clarity. But everyone has to learn. We all make mistakes, yeah, and we have to learn. My girls, they ask me the most random questions because they're still very young, they're learning about the world, and it's a good thing. I encourage that. But something happens in adulthood where our pride, our ego gets in the way, and we just feel like, oh, I can't ask that question, they're going to think I'm dumb. No, ask the question, because there's a lot of times that we think things in our head and it sounds sensible in our head, but then when you ask the question, it's like, okay, cool, I've got the clarity now. Think of how many arguments have happened or miscommunications have happened in your life just because someone didn't ask the question, someone didn't get the clarity. And once they asked the question, it was like, oh, simple. Yeah. So don't forget to ask questions. You're not a stupid person, and it's not stupid to get clarity. Number two, try and learn two sides of a story. So I recently watched a documentary by actor, writer, comedian, satirist Munya Chihuahua. And the first documentary he did was on Mugabe. The second one was on Kim Jong Un, and it was How to Survive a Dictator. I think that was the title, How to Survive a Dictator. And it was interesting because, in my opinion, when it comes to that type of documentary, I think it would be better doing it in a few, as a mini series, do a few episodes, because to try and capture someone's life in a 45-minute edited video where there is going to be some type of bias is very difficult. But one thing that I did appreciate about how he went about the documentary is that he did at least try to speak to people who have had direct experience of the situation and try to get some more backstory on Kim and Mugabe. Yeah. And that just reminded me, in life it's so important to get two sides of a story. How many times has your friend, your loved one come to you and they've told you their side of a story, and then naturally, because you have an affinity to them, you think, oh, is that what that person did that is so wrong? And then you find out another side of the story and you think, oh, maybe I should have got two sides of the story before I made a judgment. Or maybe not even in that, in someone else's situation. And I think, do you know what is so interesting as well, back to the whole How to Survive a Dictator, because I spoke to the bias. In the West, we generally use the term dictator for, leaders of other countries. But then if we were in their countries, they see our leaders as the dictators. Do you see what I mean? And when you look at history, when you learn more about what happens in the world, you realize every country has their horrible histories. It's just that some countries are open with what they do. Some countries are more open with what they see as right and wrong and how they're going to go about running their country. And it's interesting because it begs the question, what is better, having, like, knowing that you're limited, or feeling that you're free but not realizing where you're limited? So do you see? So that's why it's really interesting to get perspective, meet new people from different parts of the world, talk to them, ask them questions, watch different sources of media, because every media company, depending on who owns it, is going to have some bias. So the more different perspectives we get, then we can get a more rounded view of life, a more rounded view on a topic or a country. Yeah. And that keeps us humble because we're not so quick to judge and just say, oh, I know everything. Yeah. All right. Number three, and that being said, remember that you are not right about everything. In life, we all have those moments where we just have to swallow that humble pie and say, wow, I had this wrong. I was wrong about this. I did not realize. And this is what I love about the Holy Bible. It keeps me humble because I recognize this is a book that I have to read for the rest of my life. This is a book that I have to read from Genesis to Revelation. Remember, I said in my other video, every time I can drop the hint I'm going to keep on dropping it. Read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation because you get more context. Read whole chapters, you get more context. We may not always get things straight away. Sometimes I read the Bible and I'm like, I don't know what any of that means. Maybe I understand what one verse means there. But guess what? It will come to me because I know Yah's word will never come back void. So anytime I keep on reading and I'm coming with a humble attitude, He will speak to me, He will explain. So remember that you don't know everything. My child can teach me, children can teach you, an elderly person to you can teach you, anybody can teach you, right? And when it comes to the word of God especially, there is so much to learn. So just remember, don't just think, oh, I have the truth and I'm right about everything. No, 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 we have to be humble, because you never know when someone may show you a verse or something and you realize, I didn't interpret that properly, I had that wrong. So let's all seek to be humble because we want to grow, we want to be our best selves. And as we can see, humility is the key. All right, so our verse of encouragement is Proverbs chapter 11, verse 2. When pride cometh, then cometh shame. But with the lowly, with the humble, is wisdom. So, do you see? If you want wisdom, you need to be lowly. If you want wisdom, you need to be humble. And I pray that for myself. I pray that for you. May we all be humble and gain wisdom, because that's what we need in this life. All right, then, ladies, thank you for watching. And while you are here, please remember to like and subscribe. Oh, and before I forget, you can follow me on Instagram at Charlotte Space and check out my website. Oh, I need water. Check out my website, www.organizemydreams.com. You can go there and check out the lovely ebooks that I have. And if you need a coaching session, if you want to get organized and you recognize, hey, my life's all over the place, it's chaotic, I've got some dreams that need to be organized, then come along and sign up for Organize My Dreams. Yeah? All right, then, ladies. But I hope you have a lovely day. May we all be humble. All right, then. Bye.